Alright, so another Marvel related video. Now, I recently just posted a video talking about the overview of the Marvel Phase 4 slate. And of that Marvel Phase 4 slate, the one film that was actually a surprise to actually see was a fourth Thor film, officially called Thor Love and Thunder. And I decided to do a video specifically talking about this upcoming film because there are there is noticeably already a fairly significant divide about fans' response to this kind of announcement, as well as more specific announcements made about what to expect from this film. First of all, let's just go over the title: Thor: Love and Thunder. There are some people that say that the title could be better, like it could have come with a better title, and it does kind of sound like a sort of like a low budget porn title, to be honest with you guys. But personally, I kind of like the title, Love and Thunder. Just got a nice ring to it, I guess. And also the whole style of the logo they use for this title is a little bit like Thor Ragnarok, but it reminds me more of like something like He-Man and the Master of the Universe, like those like bright, cheesy, like fantasy properties from like the 80s. Kind of reminds me of that. So while the title and like the whole style of the title logo may not be to everyone's taste, I personally like it. Now, of course, Chris Hemsworth is back as Thor, which is good. Of course, I have a lot of questions regarding how they're going to do with like the Guardians of the Galaxy aspect of it, because when Endgame ended, he was going with them into space. So, but it'll be interesting to see how things go from there. They've also confirmed that Tessa Thompson coming back as Valkyrie, so at least part, if not most of the movie, will be focused on Earth, because Asgard is now on Earth, or like a new Asgard for like the survivors of Thanos' attack on their ship and after the snap. And she's the new ruler of Asgard, or as Tessa Thompson says, the new king of Asgard. And according to Tessa Thompson from Comic-Con, she said that Valkyrie, as the new king of Asgard, one of the first things she's going to do is find her queen. So while it has basically been confirmed that Tessa Thompson's character Valkyrie is bisexual, and that even Thor Ragnarok had like a deleted scene or like a scene that was taken out of the film where it basically confirmed that. It was officially confirmed by Kevin Feige at San Diego Comic Con that yeah, she is bisexual, but looks like we're actually going to see that on screen. And due to the wording of how Tessa Thompson said it, and the fact that it's now completely official so that 100% of people know, there are some people that are backlashing against it a little bit. Look, I'm encourage movies, TV shows that have characters from the LGBT community. They can bring a nice variety, a nice new. They can bring interesting stories. They can introduce interesting concepts and ideas to stories, characters, all sorts of stuff. But my one rule is that don't let their sexuality be the only thing that defines them. Focus on giving them a fleshed out personality, fleshed out everything about them. And if they being part of the LGBT community does play like an important role in like the story you want to tell, then yes, go ahead, do it. But don't let it be the only thing you focus on with those kinds of characters. And thankfully, so far, they haven't done that with Valkyrie. She's been a pretty badass character. So I don't know why people are suddenly up in arms about it now. Sorry. Alright, but the biggest surprise return to this film is Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, who will also apparently become the new female Thor, which Taika Waititi says the official term for her is Mighty Thor. Yeah, I know. I was surprised as you are, Quachi. I mean, due to the way that Thor Dark World like unfolded in production and like her experience with it, she really didn't want to come back to this franchise. Like even Thor Ragnarok, there's just one throwaway line about how she and Thor broke up. Now, Natalie Portman's performance as Jane Foster in Thor and Thor 2, her performance is good. It's just that the writing for her was bad. They really underutilized Natalie Portman in these films. I mean, she's a great actress. She's one of my favorite actresses right now. And they really underutilized her in those films. So it was a bit of a surprise to actually see even archive footage of her in Endgame. That was actually kind of a big surprise. But now to actually have her officially return, it's actually kind of exciting. I mean, I know people saying like, "Oh, she's a hypocrite because she once said she never wants to come back to this role." Like, no, back in February 2018, she said she was open to coming back as Jane Foster. It's just that the whole specific experience with Thor: The Dark World, and specific experiences and situations related to that one film, is what basically turned her away for a while. And plus, the idea of having her come back to this film, as well as her becoming the new Thor, you know that this isn't really something that Marvel Studios like pitched to Taika Waititi. This is something that Taika Waititi most likely pitched to Marvel Studios and to Natalie Portman, who both liked enough to go ahead and do it. And speaking of her becoming Thor, that's really become the biggest issue with some people in terms of like criticizing this film. They see this as basically them like forcing like social justice messages or whatever. It basically, in some people's eyes, the decision to have Jane Foster become like a female Thor, as well as like actually like officially confirming that Valkyrie is bisexual, part of the LGBT community, they see this film as like one big like social justice movie message propaganda stuff. Look, Marvel is not immune, I'll admit that. They've had some missteps. Most of them contains like the early years. But they always make sure to have like good, fun, decently written stories and characters first before anything else. Now, like I said, they're not immune to mistakes. I'm personally not a big fan of Captain Marvel, but that's not because it was focused on a female superhero. I didn't like it because that movie had bad writing and bad directing and didn't allow that female superhero to actually show like her full potential as a character. And honestly, the idea of a female Thor, of Jane Foster becoming Thor, has always been an idea that honestly I really think is kind of cool. I mean, I know that for a while that in the comics, Jane Foster did become Thor for a while, and I actually haven't wanted to try to get to read those comics, but I've been putting off for a while. But I actually really now want to actually push, try actually read it, so I can actually see for myself just how good it is. Because I've heard some pretty good things about that run, actually. I know there are some people that aren't big fans of the run, but from what I've heard personally, I think it's worth my time to check it out. And honestly, I'm really excited to see a new Mighty Thor, as the official term, in the MCU, and to see more of Valkyrie. Of course, this does raise the question of, will Natalie Portman now replace Chris Hemsworth as like the new Lord of Thunder? And what will Valkyrie's role in the MCU be moving forward? Actually, now that I think about it, is Valkyrie actually going to seek out Jane Foster, make her new Thor, and actually make her queen? No, they can't. I mean, I actually think it would be kind of cool to actually have Valkyrie and new goddess of thunder Jane Foster slash Mighty Thor actually be king and queen of Asgard. But no, I don't want to get my hopes up that high. Although from the way it sounds, it could go that direction. And anyway, look, there is a lot about this new Thor 4 film that will divide and turn away some people. But there's also a lot of excitement about it. And while I do realize that some of the decisions and choices that have been announced so far should be approached with some amount of caution, I'm still really excited about it. And I think also a greater reason for why people aren't really fans of these kind of decisions is because it's really going against sort of like the status quo of what's been established for Thor and his mythology in MCU. But the reason why Thor Ragnarok was so great is because it broke that status quo. It did its own thing, breaking established rules and settings. And since the same guy who did that is coming back again, why aren't people more excited about it? Anyway, really looking forward to this, personally speaking. Some amount of caution. I'm still realistic, but still really excited. So that's all I have to say right now. Like, comment, subscribe, share. See you guys next time.